Hey, I'm Giancarlo Stanton, and I play baseball for the New York Yankees. When I first came to the Big Apple, I fell in love. Manhattan, the Bronx, Queens, Brooklyn, and I have to say, while I work in the Bronx, my favorite borough to visit is Staten Island. I mean, people from Staten Island are so nice. Staten Island pizza, the best. Skyline views from Staten Island, breathtaking. And the Staten Island Ferry, I mean, it is free. I'm Giancarlo Stanton, and I love New York, especially Staten Island.
Cut, Giancarlo, it's Staten Island.
No, it's not.
We're here at Dodger Stadium for our annual Thanksgiving event. The Dodgers Dream Foundation and our partner Ralph Foods for Less is providing families, over 600 of them in the greater community here around Dodger Stadium, with a turkey meal for this holiday season. Every family's getting a big turkey as well as fixings from pie to corn. And as you can see behind me, we have a number of cars coming with all the families, and we have some of our Dodger alumni like Bobby Castillo and Sweet Lou Johnson here today. It's a great event, and we're excited to be doing this with our local council districts.
For me, it kicks off, the holiday season. Seeing this, seeing the turkeys, and seeing everybody pitch in, it really becomes not only a season of giving, but a season of helping.
There's a lot to be thankful for throughout the year, but the season of giving is what the Yankees are most proud of. And with the help of Legends Hospitality, hundreds of local Bronx residents and their families got to enjoy a Thanksgiving feast.
We're always excited to work with our neighbors and community partners to make a difference, and that's what's taking place here today. We're partnering with Legends Hospitality, Scan New York, and you see a bunch of smiling faces, so I guess that means job well done.
Today was amazing. I'm very full. From the apple pie to the pumpkin pie to the mashed potatoes, everything was great. I was looking forward to this day.
I think they love it. Earlier online, I was joking around with the kids. They were saying this is awesome. Everyone seems to be having a great time.
We put out a traditional Thanksgiving meal for everyone. We have turkey, mashed potatoes, sweet potatoes, green beans, mac and cheese, cranberry sauce, gravy, rolls, salad, pies, cookies, the whole nine. They get a full, nutritious meal. It's just an enjoyable experience for everyone.
Just being able to give back and serve food to all these individuals is great. I even have my daughter here helping out.
It's all about sticking together, and that's what SCAN is all about, bringing families together, bringing the community together.
As big as both organizations are, we still focus on the things that matter the most, which is our neighbors and the community.
A lot of our students, their families aren't able to come out or, celebrate this time, or some students they don't have a Thanksgiving. The fact that all of these sites are coming out and we're all coming together, eating, laughing, it's like really joyous, and it's the time that we really need because, everybody goes through something, but sometimes you need something to happen to remind you what you really need to be thankful for.
Reach out, oh, with Ray and Steve. Reach out, with Ray and Steve. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the car.
Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant good evening to you wherever you may be, and a very pleasant Thanksgiving to you wherever you may be. Welcome to our Thanksgiving special show of Reach Out. My name is Robbie Robinson, along with my buddies Ray Negron, and Steve Vaccaro. We're going to have a great show tonight.
Yogi Berra Museum and Learning Center. Next to me is Jenny, who's been here 5 or 6 years now. Incredible place, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm so lucky to work here. I work in education, dealing with a lot of students. We've got tons of kids coming into the museum pretty much every day. I work with a lot of teachers and principals and do a lot of outreach as well as help develop the content that we provide kids.
What gives you the passion to work with different schools and young people here at the Museum and Learning Center?
The kids themselves, you know, watching the lights go on for kids when they start to understand the connection between science and math and sports. We have a really popular STEM program, and that's a buzzword that kids know a lot about these days. And it's kind of a way to hide teaching science and math, which might be boring to some kids, but when you do it through the lens of sports, they can get really excited.
Let's talk about Yogi Berra for a minute. I mean, he's a legend in New York, nationally and worldwide. I mean, Hall of Famer, Yankee, great, number 8. Everybody knows Yogi Berra, his Yogi Berra-isms.
Yep.
But talk about Yogi Berra and the whole phenomenal era that he represents back in as being a Yankee,
Yep.
but also what he represents now with his family here.
You know, most kids, of course, understandably don't know who Yogi Berra was, so it's really great to just keep his story alive. And as we always say here at the museum, he wasn't just a great baseball player, but he was a great human being.
Right.
And we want kids to know that he represented values that we want them to emulate, like respect, kindness, teamwork, perseverance. We just had a group here yesterday where we were throwing around the word perseverance, and the kids were in 4th grade, and one kid raised their hand and said, "What is perseverance?" And so I turned it back to the kids and said, does anyone know? And a kid raised his hand and said, "When you don't stop trying." And I just thought that was exactly it. And that's essentially what "it ain't over till it's over," our favorite Yogiism, means. Yeah, I think I never got to meet Yogi, but meeting his family has been very rewarding and fun. And I like to think Yogi's, you know, smiling down on us and very excited about all the fun stuff we're doing.
Talk about the family's motivation to keep his legacy alive.
Yeah, I mean, Lindsay, especially Lindsay Berra, is the oldest grandchild, and she has the best stories. And what's great is that she is young enough to remember everything, but old enough that she really got to really know her grandfather really well. You know, he passed away and she was about 38 or something like that. So she really spends a lot of time with him. And, you know, there's 11 grandchildren and some of them are much younger and didn't get that kind of time. So she has given us so much content and great stories to pass on to kids.
You know, Yogi Berra is such a New York legend. Obviously, he's with the Yankees, but he also managed the Mets for a while.
Mm-hmm.
So New Yorkers...
Go Mets. I'm a Met fan. Yeah.
Met fan. Okay, well, we'll edit that one out.
Exactly.
Wow. But he represents...
But I'm for the Yankees, too.
Right. New York, the tri-state area, New Jersey, Connecticut, New York. I mean, he is such a humble man throughout his life. And to have his family maintain his legacy and to have your staff here, along with Joni and everybody else, to really support that legacy is amazing. Can you talk about the staff here behind the scenes?
Yeah, sure. So in terms of the education staff, we always hire Montclair State undergrad students. So, you know, the museum sits here in technically Little Falls, but we're on the campus of Montclair State University. And every year there's a career fair, and we go and we get, hundreds of applications because this has become one of the kind of coveted jobs on campus. I remember, I think our first year we had 4 or 5 educators, and now we've ballooned to 11. And that's partly because we've had a lot of demand for school trips, and it takes 4 or so educators to help run a trip. And often these are students who are learning how to be teachers. You may know Montclair State has a big teacher education program, and big master's program. So we always say we like to keep it in the family, hiring from MSU. And I have to say we've had extraordinary people, the only downside of which is that they go and graduate to go hire more people. So, yeah.
Well, I guess we hire more young people, new people, energetic people, and you have a great alumni, I'm sure.
Exactly. Yeah, and the alumni has done events here. They sometimes, want to come and learn more about Yogi's life and the programs we run, and we're developing more and more of a relationship with not just the alumni office, but other departments at MSU as well. Yeah.
Now, November 29th, we have our Bat Boys show here, about Raina Grone's story and story of second chances here. And it got postponed a couple of times because of the pandemic.
Right.
Talk about the pandemic, how much of a hit it was to the museum.
And as everybody knows, during COVID, schools were really hurting. Teachers were, teaching out of their kitchens, and while they were trying to take care of their own kids in school, they were still teaching their classes. So I think it was by May 1st of 2020, we figured out how to put all of our programs over Zoom. So, and then because schools were so in such a bad way, and kids were just dying to see their friends and be back in school, we offered our programming free to any school that had an internet connection and could do a program with us. So one of the really exciting things for me, I remember in that month of May, was seeing kids see each other for the first time when they had been shut out of school for already 6 weeks or whatever that had been. So, and because we did programs on Zoom, we could really make it limitless. You could have 80 or 100 kids in a class, which is not ideal when you're here in person. So we actually saw a lot of students during COVID, even though it was such a hard time.
Now, we did our first Bat Boy show here a couple of years ago, and you had a smaller screen, and now you have this big ticket item hanging on the wall here.
Yes.
What a game changer.
Absolutely. We are so lucky to have this cool screen, and one of my next goals is to get relationships going between schools in New Jersey, schools that have access to getting here by bus, with schools that will be represented via Zoom or whatever platform on our screen, and maybe they'll be in other cities like St. Louis, where Yogi is from, or Houston, home of the Astros, or
let's not go there.
And let's not go there. I know, exactly. Any other city. And there's so many baseball cities all over the United States, as you know, that would really enjoy a field trip here. And when they can't really get here by bus.
Right. I mean, it's beautiful because the Bat Boy show is a combination of great music, great acting, and great video footage. So Raina Grone really kind of takes us through a journey of all of that. And this video screen, the technology that you increased here and improved, it's going to be so exciting for our cast, for Ray, and to relive those Yankee Dynasty years in the 70s that is so near and dear to Raina Grone's heart.
That's great.
Yeah, so this is really a really cool thing. Now, I understand schools are in and out of here all the time, and you're pretty much booked for the rest of the year. So talk about when a class comes here, the excitement that these kids have.
They don't know really what they're walking into, and I think this museum has been kind of a hidden gem, and we don't want to be so hidden. So it's fun to expose this fun theater space and all the different spaces that we have here in a small museum because we hope it gets back to their parents, who may come back and bring other family members and spread the word and know about us more. But the other thing we really want to show schools is that museums shouldn't be just a place where you walk around and look at things, but where you actually do activities. And so we want to keep things fun and interesting, educational, and relevant to young people.
Even the name itself, the Yogi Berra Museum and Learning Center, to have that, because there's not too many museums around the country that honors that learning center piece. And I think because of the pandemic, it's very important to have that piece. That should be the main focus, and then everything else kind of feeds from that. So I commend you guys for all the work that you're doing. I see that Billie Jean King, you're honoring a tennis legend here.
Yeah.
Talk about that. I mean, because I understand that is going to be honoring her through June.
Exactly. So so Billie Jean King, as you know, is this amazing tennis player who had 39 world championships, and it was a perfect fit for us in terms of developing a program on the history of women in sports and girls in sports, and how just 50 years ago, before the development of Title IX, women and girls weren't allowed the same opportunities in sports that they are today as the men. Also Billie Jean King's activism in the LGBTQ community, and unsurprisingly, her enthusiasm for Title IX really matches with Yogi's values as well. You know, fighting for the underdog. Yogi used to say, if you can play, you can play. Meaning, you know, your skin color, your background, your gender, none of that matters. If you have the ability and the passion for a game, you should be allowed to play. And so she's a perfect fit for us.
Tennis legend, loyalty. I mean, when you see her at the U.S. Open and how her colleagues, her peers, the fans, the administration of the whole U.S. Open tour, it's amazing what she has done for her career, but to maintain that legacy by teaching and empowering others.
Yeah, and so many great women in tennis, like Serena and Venus Williams and Naomi Osaka and Coco Gauff. All these people would not be where they're at today without the work that Billie Jean King did first.
Okay, so you say you're a Met fan for a second.
Oh no.
Just for a second.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I'm not good with the trivia, but
okay, not trivia, but in 2023, I mean, what happened to them this year? I can't talk because of the Yankees.
I think there's hope. I think this was one of the best years they've had in a long time, and I think the new ownership, I mean, certainly money helps. Although I just heard now, I think Jason DeGrom is a free agent, and he's an incredible pitcher, and so it's sort of unclear what's going to happen there. But yeah, you know, you got to believe, as they say, and you got to keep hope alive.
Fact. You know, since you're such a Mets fan.
Yeah, right. You got to rub it in, right?
I got the last word here.
No, of
sitting
course.
Yogi Berra's home here. We've got to, you know, but it's amazing. How can people?
He was both. He was a Met. He was a Met.
He wasn't Met. He wasn't Met and a Yankee. But how can people get a hold of you, book schools or book different nonprofits to come in here? Because I think it's really important to maintain Yogi Berra's legacy, but also to teach and empower and inspire. And I think that's what goes on here.
Absolutely. So I'm all over the website, YogiBerraMuseum.org. And if you go to our website and click on Learn, that's where it takes you to all of our education programs. We also have an online curriculum that is completely free that's designed for teachers to use, but it's free. It's outside of the tri-state area, and you can't get here, and you want to still teach Yogi's values and the content that we have. You are welcome to use that as well.
Thank you, Jenny. Thank you so very much.
You're so welcome.
God bless. We can't wait to come back here on November 29th. Bat Boy, get your tickets. We're pretty much sold out, and this is such a unbelievable setting. And for Ray Negron, it's really like coming home. So thank you, Jenny.
You're so welcome. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Yo, Sarah.
Yo, Robbie.
Hey, Genius Girl. I am so excited to get our rendition of Route 66 finally released on Robbie's record, I might add.
I am so honored that this song is coming out on Robbie's Records. And after all this time, creating it during the pandemic, we're finally able to get it out into the world.
Yeah, we navigated a musical adventure from Chicago to L.A., and of course we explored jazz, soul, rock, and pop all along the way.
That is for sure. There was pretty much no genre we left untouched in this.
Amen to that. You know, of course, we started our journey in your hometown of Chicago, Illinois, right from the Hammond Organ Factory. You know that I only played a Hammond keyboard on this record, the amazing new Hammond SK Pro.
Woo, that speaks to the quality of that instrument, because listening to it, I would never think that that was all from one keyboard. I would think you had a huge bank of synths somewhere.
Yeah, now, of course, we had to make a pit stop in my beloved hometown of Litchfield, Illinois, which sits right along Route 66. As a matter of fact, we performed right in front of the Litchfield Museum and Route 66 Welcome Center.
That's right. You are Mr. Litchfield, I can basically say. You even got up onto the roof of the Route 66 Welcome Center.
Yeah, it wasn't easy to get up there, but they love you in Litchfield. You went back with us to perform with the Robinson Brothers All-Star Band, and you made a lot of new Sarah fans when you were back there.
It was incredible to finally get to go to Litchfield after hearing about it for so many years, to go to this wonderful town where each person was nicer than the next. It's pretty special. It explains a lot about you, that great place you come from, and why you are the way you are.
Well, I don't know about that, but of course I've got my Litchfield Museum and Route 66 Welcome Center shirt on right here.
Represent.
You know, you killed it in your scatting. Even Alan Paul from the Manhattan Transfer commented on that. He sent me an email. He was raving about your ability to scat. Where'd you learn that?
That is a huge, huge honor to hear that from Alan. Of course, Manhattan Transfer was a very early influence of mine. My parents and I used to listen to them all the time in the car. And now Manhattan Transfer has been nominated for a Grammy with their album 50, which is pretty amazing. But yeah, I listened to the jazz greats. I listened to Ella Fitzgerald and Miles and Bill Evans, and just had a real love for great singers and also great instrumentalists and just people that told stories. So I started young and I still love it.
Well, that's absolutely amazing that you have that kind of ability to sing in that genre, plus rock and pop and soul and all the other things that you do.
Thank you. Well, I feel the same about you. There's no genre I've heard you not just absolutely crush, including classical. You know, you can do it all.
Well, I love it. Of course, you know, on Robbie's records, you know that the logo is Johann Sebastian Bach in his sunglasses.
Wearing a very cool. I didn't know that he wore sunglasses. Those are,
he was a hipster back then.
That's right.
You know, the video that you created is super cool. Your vision for music videos is absolutely Spielbergian, if that's a word. Spielbergian? I don't know. Is that a word?
I will take that.
You could win a Grammy for your extraordinary video alone. Heck, not even a Grammy. You could win an Oscar.
You are way too kind, Robbie. It is really special to get to take music that I've created with you and to try to find some visuals that can hopefully attempt to live up to the music. It's a fun challenge.
You do it amazingly well.
Thank you very much.
Well, I hope people get a chance to really check out this new song of ours, and especially that super cool video that you created. It's cool, it's campy, it's very unique, and it's modern at the same time on this old song, Route 66.
That's right. We've taken a classic and given it a new life. It's out on all of the platforms, everywhere people get their music. YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, TikTok, and on and on and on. And what do you say, Robbie? Should we Should we give the people a taste of Route 66?
Here it is, Route 66.
If you ever plan to motor west, travel my way, take the highway, that's the best. Get your kicks on Route 66. Well, it winds from Litchfield to LA, more than 2,000 miles along the way. Oh, get your kicks on Route 66. And now you go through St. Louis, Joplin, Missouri, and Oklahoma City looks mighty pretty. You see Amarillo, Gallup, New Mexico, yeah. Flagstaff, Arizona, don't forget Winona, Kingman, Barstow, San Bernardino. And I'm in the mood for travel, so I wanna go to Litchfield. Let's go, come on, ride big
You know, this Thanksgiving, we all have so much to be thankful for. And I know that you have so much to be thankful for. I am so blessed. I'm so thankful for my family. I'm so thankful for just this day that God gives to each one of us, the gift of life, the gift of breath. Don't ever take it for granted, because yesterday was history, tomorrow is a mystery, but today is God's gift to each one of us, and that's why they call it the present. May God grant you amazing blessings on this special day. God bless each and every one of you.
Chandler in the Bronx. Do you know what you're getting for lunch?
All I know is that my man Carmine, our producer director, is concentrating on the Mickey Mantle.
That's right.
And you know what? The Yankee Tavern has been here since the days of Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig, and I know for a fact from Pete Sheehy himself used to come here and pick up the pastrami sandwiches. Babe Ruth used to eat 3 pastrami sandwiches and 2 hot dogs and 2 bottles of seltzer back in 1927, 1928, and I'm so proud to be here. Joe's place. Joe, the owner, has owned this place now for God knows since I was a Yankee bat boy.
Well, the Yankee Tavern is located 72 East 161st Street in Bronx, New York, right across the street from Yankee Stadium.
Yankee Stadium, the Bronx.
And it doesn't get better than this.
Doesn't get better than this.
When the pandemic lifts, you come here and you go to a game, right?
The best pastrami in the Bronx.
There we go. And reach out with Ray and Steve on Monday night. We have 2 special guests. We have a lot of special guests.
Who?
Willie Randolph and Chris Chambliss.
Willie Wonder.
That's right. Chris Chambliss, 1976.
Snatcher. They used to call Chris Chambliss the Snatcher because he used to pick everything
millions
up in
of
the truck.
Yankee fans from that one swing. And Willie hit the first home run in 1977 World Series, too.
The first one. I was right there. I was right there to greet him. I hope you got the footage.
I think we got it. Chris Chambliss made me a Yankee fan. Let's check it out, how many Yankee fans he made with you.
Hard shot, left side, way back. It is gone. Home run, Randolph. The score is tied at 2-2.
That's the fine young athlete we were telling you about, whom Tom Seaver characterized as a typical Pittsburgh Pirate farm product. He was obtained a year ago, as we look at this again, in one of Gabe Paul's many trades that re-architectured the Yankees.
The American League Championship is Chris Chambliss. Walks to the plate.
Chambliss is so hot he's got his shirt unbuttoned. He's in heat.
Art Littell delivers high drive. Hits it right center field.
That's gone.
It is gone.
Chris Chambliss has won the American League pennant for the New York Yankees.
Yeah, my emotions really changed from exhilaration to fear when I hit second base because there was a lot of people all over the field. And a lot happened during that run around the bases. The best thing I could do is get myself to the dugout. So that's the kind of run I had to make. It was almost like a football run where I had to run through some people.
Look at the mob, Chris Chambliss.
There was just no chance at controlling the crowd.
Got into the dugout and into the clubhouse, and then the guys said the same thing, did you touch home plate? I put on a jacket, and I took 2 security guards. I put my arms around them, and the 3 of us went through the crowd and were up towards home plate, which was gone, by the way. Somebody stole that plate. I put my foot on that area, and that was about as official as we could do it.
He had to go back and make sure he touched home plate. I tell you, what a finish to as exciting a ball game as you'll ever want to see.
Those are crazy times in the Bronx back then.
It's still crazy in the Bronx, especially with this whole scenario of pandemic. But so that's why, Steve, I'm glad that you're bringing up the old good, for me, the good old days.
The good old days. Chris Chambliss and Willie Randolph.
Let me tell you about the good old days.
Oh yeah, you can tell. Dog.
Try to remember
the good old days. But
the kind of September.
There we go. But we're at the Yankee
Memories.
We break out to the song no matter where we are.
Like the summer of mine.
We want to thank the boys at NYPBG Studios back here putting this all together. We have some
Peter.
outstanding guests today. Who else here? Right, Mike Longo, Mike Dempsey, friends of the show all this time. So welcome, guys. Thank you.
Pleasure to be on.
Yeah, and Mike, you have a couple of people next to you. Who are they?
What's my niece, old college football teammate. I wouldn't say old, I say young, but older college football teammate of mine from about 20-something, 5 years ago. I'm not going to date ourselves, but he's got a great program, charity, about you, New York City. And he's got one of his student athletes here as well that he'll introduce as well. But
he's a very shy young man.
Yes, he is.
And so he's a boy from Harlem, my streets, I ran those streets real hard in the day. Now it's like nice kids.
Right.
Nah.
Mike, you're up from North Carolina. You came up for your reunion and you ran into a friend of yours.
Yeah, I came up for my high school football annual reunion we do every year. Usually it's at Yankee Stadium because Erasmus High School is always in the championship game. And this year there was no game this year, so we just had a dinner last night in the city. My friends, and I said I want to see my old college football teammate I haven't seen in like 15 or so years because of all the great work he's doing. So this is like double, 2 for the price of 1 to be up here. So great trip, 8-hour drive, it all worth it.
Could you tell us a little bit about the great work that your friend is doing?
I really appreciate you guys having us on Radio Steve. My name is George Alisi. This is Bruce King. Our organization is about working with kids from youth through college and placing jobs. So what we're focusing on right now is doing more. As everyone's shutting down for kids, we're getting more involved. Whether it be SAT, academic.
When they're running away from the fire, you're running into the fire.
Exactly. We're
Love
running
it.
into the fire. So what happens is that we actually practice every Sunday right across the street at 161. Just doing football stuff, but keeping kids busy and keeping kids hopeful right now. One thing that's not being mentioned now is that our kids are sacrificing more than ever for adults, and we're not offering any solutions.
Please tell us what you mean by that.
Our kids are giving up in-person learning, so New York City kids pretty much are locked in their rooms all day. They're not, no sports, no social interaction, and they're not stating how are you going to get back to get kids back to on the developmental track to get the opportunities that they have. Rich areas, they're having a problem. They're supplementing everything. And it's kind of unfortunate. I was telling Mike, it seems like there's a little bit of hit and play. New York City public schools, no schools. Catholic schools, Catholic schools. Suburban schools in AAU are in session. So what we're doing right now is as they shut down, we're going to continue.
Now, are you getting any static from the so-called higher-ups, etc.?
We had a little bit of resistance. We actually ran a showcase for football at high school with the Army Jets program. A little bit of pushback, but public school. And now kids are actually getting scholarship offers, college opportunities. Plus we're going to do more. We're going to do more in the future. We also extended our SAT programs before we signed up in May. We kept our love straight through. We're going to start a mentorship program, partnering with World Bank Canada and other Wall Street firms. My background was in finance before I started teaching.
Hey, let me ask you now, not every place they have a youth who's out there for the kids this way. What happens to those kids that don't have you?
Right now they're lost. Right, that's the issue.
And please emphasize.
Right now they're lost. Right now there is not a support system. What we're about, we're just talking about it off camera, is seeing kids through college, through jobs. The issue now a little bit in society is that adults are going to have kids' lives. We need consistency. And that's where our mentorship program, and actually students like Musa, college kids come back and mentor kids. Musa's 16, Musa's an elite student. He goes, we got him into Blair Academy. He recently got 13 SAT. Wow.
I only had a 9.
I'm not going there.
Wow. It's a different kind of show. His brother plays football. He just got back from Thanksgiving. His brother plays University. He's going to get a national. He represents everything. And not only that.
Can I be your agent?
That's what I'm saying. I want 2% of that.
I'll let him do it. He represents everything that we want, but he also represents everything I would want in my son. Right. I always joke around with people like, I wish he was my son.
You know what's funny? I was watching Cobra Kai. Okay, and you remind me of the situation with the way the 2 lead men are trying to help the young kids in the situation. So, so I like that.
So let me ask you a question. So we were talking off camera about when we were younger and we were more mentored and we had people scouting us and we had scouts and all that stuff to get to where we were when we were young. How does that happen to these kids down that are abandoned in their houses and they can't go nowhere? How do they get out there where scouts or college recruits or professional scouts can come and see them play, or is it just wasted talent sitting home?
It's wasted talent.
Hey, what do you think you are, Chaz Palminteri?
The only kids that really are being recruited right now that don't have film, they got film from our event. We film one-on-ones, drills and stuff. It's higher academic kids. So it goes back to academics as the foundation. If you want to really be recruited in any any sport that most is your academics. And I'm glad you mentioned that because we actually started partnering with Ranch Street Baseball. With Delta Pants came from.
Oh, yes, yes.
Pushing this first pilot program with the kids. Listen, everyone wants to go to minors. If you go to minors at high school and you don't make it, you're going to struggle with getting a job as that. So increasing your opportunities through academics. I know we're not going to get everyone in the beginning, but we'll be all going to get that 4 or 5 kids. They see that they get opportunities and they know that it's very quick. Check grades. And Musa will tell you, I mean, he already was for great parents and so forth. He's now at Blair County, which is one of the best schools in the country. And he has the equivalent of almost 4 hours.
Musa, please tell me, what has this man next to you meant to you in your life?
So George is kind of like, he's kind of the first person that really believed in me when we were talking about football. When I was in about 9th grade, we was coming back home from SAT, and he said, Musa, if you really try, if you work hard and on and off the field and in the classroom, like you can get any offer you want, you can go to any school you want. And he said that to me, and he also said that to my brother. We both kind of didn't believe it, but through the years, we started to see that as actually a possibility, and he was able to do it, so I believe I'm able to do it too.
Now, something very important. I just posted on my Instagram yesterday 2 guys, Babe Ruth and Elvis Presley. And I put on my post, they didn't care about color. What does that mean to you from the standpoint of this man who, in essence, I just met you today, but I know that God helps me and works with me, and I see your eyes, and your eyes are real, actually. You understand what I'm saying? What does that mean to you that a white man, in essence, didn't give a damn about your color or anything like that in a crazed society?
For me, my parents always told me to be nice to people, so I believe he was raised the same way, and like I really never thought about his color or anybody's color. I only really care about their character, their personality, and how they can benefit me and how I can benefit them.
See, that's the problem today. We were all raised, God bless your parents, because we were all raised the same way. You don't look at color, you don't look at race, you don't look at that. So you be nice to people, people be nice to you. Today, that's not being thrown out there. That parents are not telling their children that. Now it's white, black, this, that. That's how it is.
Let's say not all parents.
Right. Okay. So not all parents, but the majority.
The reason why it is because people, right now, the big thing in companies is diversity, right? The way they explain, which is a great way, is if you're not diverse in the group, you're not going to be innovative. If you have everybody from the same area, it's going to be the same. But there is no diversity in the school system in New York City. 95% of the schools are black and Spanish, 95% are white and Asian. So there isn't the crossover there should be. Now, I was fortunate because I was raised very well. But when I came and I started coaching at Cardinal Hayes, I wasn't. A lot of places I go, I am the only white person, but I never even think of it that I'm white and they're kids. That's the problem. They're kids, and everyone is thinking of things in their own perspective right now and not seeing how it affects other people. And there's no reason why where you were born should affect your opportunities. And that's what we got to do a better job of helping kids from a young age. I tell you, it shows you. Put in the work with someone like Musa and other kids. I think New York City kids would be better than any kids. They took. What's the chances that him and his brother in one household are now the 2 of them? There's probably only 5 kids in the country that can jump over 40 inches vertical and score over 15 misses. Yeah. There's probably a lot more like that.
But I love what you do because the academics is so very important.
Yeah,
along with the athletics. And what's the biggest challenge during this pandemic? We're all faced with many challenges. How do you overcome what you do? How do you reach out to more people? You know, December's rolling around, January's right around the corner. What's your vision for 2021?
My vision for 2021 is just to do more. And the way we do more is like, say for example, my focus was SAT. We extended the class. I had some kids with me for 8 months that kept on canceling the class. Only in the city they were canceling. It was open up in the suburbs. But our vision now is we're starting a mentorship program. We need to have kids have more access to adults that care. And the more adults that care and give back, we can overcome these hurdles. Because I would bet some kids will step out 2 or 3 years now.
Yeah, especially kids with special needs even further.
Yeah, even further. No one's talking about this.
Right.
It's
The problem is, let me ask you this, okay? And we're all mentors here, okay? How do you battle, and I'm glad that you have your student here, okay, you're a sensei. And in essence, how do you battle the frustration that certain kids give you? Not every kid is going to be this kid. How do you battle that kid who, in essence, thinks he knows everything?
It's twofold. Well, one
And say that loud, because this is important. That's the majority.
There is, but surprisingly, like during the, I'm not political, during the pandemic, it was on nonstop. It started getting me a little bit mad. And the kids were so positive, they got me back. And that's when we started doing it more. The kid that battles that, he knows, I don't stop. I'll point it out over and over again. We had 3 kids that pushed back with SAT, and I said, you know what? You guys just got punished. You're in SAT boot camp. They did 3 days in a row, 8 hours a day. They wanted it. First they said, I'm trying to use my grade team. But it comes down to you can't. As an adult, you can't. Even my dad, when I was in college at Albany, my grade, he was going to pull me off the football team. I would have been really embarrassed.
At what school?
Albany, we went to Albany.
Okay. 20 years old to be taken off of sports. You just have to be there and you can't back off.
But how do you handle the Mike Dempseys?
You know Mike Dempsey handles you.
Right.
You know, Mike Longo loved the colors of your jacket, first of all.
Well, wearing the old football jacket, it still fits all these years later. I'm just proud because I did lose like 30 pounds.
Mike is very political.
But,
And you guys know each other for a long time. Talk about your relationship.
yeah, we were like roommates and suite mates for like I think all 3 years up there.
Yeah.
2.5 years. And
Unfortunately, we lost a little touch each other and reached out and I saw all the stuff that he was doing. He reached out to me. That's what a true friend is. Doesn't matter how long you've seen them, they're willing to help you. And that's what we're trying to teach. It's giving back. It's great. And he reached out to me.
our other mutual friend is Danny Lamberg, coach Erasmus High School. Incredible story. Danny turned around a program in Brooklyn that had lost. It's like a movie in itself. I mean, they lost every game for like 5 years in a row, and now they've been to the city championship, PSAL, for the last 6 out of 8 years, and he won the last 2. Danny came in and turned around the program. I mean, when we played Erasmus back in 30 years ago, they had no equipment. Now they got sponsors, they got funding for these kids. It's an incredible story, and I think what Danny's done is an inspiration too. And he's one of the best coaches I think I've ever seen coach high school football. And he's ready for the next level. I know whether it's Rutgers or whatever school, but they'd be proud to get some like. But I think Danny loves mentoring these young kids. He can have the college football opportunities. He's had many. He knows Urban Meyer, but he wants to be out there and helping these kids. That's what I see George doing with what he's doing with his program, is helping these young kids get to that next level. So pretty cool.
Well, this is the Yankee Tavern. We're here at the Yankee Tavern, 72 East 161st Street in the Bronx.
Great pastrami.
Yankee Tavern, NYC at
Mustard.
gmail.com. You can make your orders right now, 718
Delicious.
292 6130.
No fat.
That's right. And as soon as
Well, a
the
little
show's
fat.
over,
Everybody has a little fat.
But Mike, you take.
I mean, look what happened here.
Yeah, there we go. Mike Longo, you're taking us all in. What do you think of these gentlemen to your right?
Oh, it's just meeting these guys and talking about my experiences when I was coaching the kids and training them from a young age going up. I want to be a part of them. I want to help. I want to do whatever I can to mentor these kids. So I got a question too that's been bothering me.
Hold it. You, a man who has 2 kids that are police officers in the Bronx.
Yes.
There was just a shooting last night.
Yes, there wasn't an incident.
Okay, thank God. But in essence, not only are you mentoring regular kids, but not only are you protecting Al Pacino, among others, how do you deal with the mentoring of your kids who are carrying .357 Magnums? Your daughter is like 5'1", the gun is bigger than her, but she's the toughest one in the Bronx.
To be honest with you,
yeah,
they mentor me.
Beautiful.
They're the ones that mentor me. I mean, I'm private sector. I have my own business. I have my own security, whatever.
Stop bragging.
They got to go by the book, and the book right now has been expanded against them. Any PD officer out there, their targets, their how do I explain it? They have to go by the book.
But don't you feel that things are getting better?
No.
He's encouraging.
No, it's not. It's not. It's not for the police.
No.
Not for the police. Things might be getting a little bit quieter, but before they cut all these things in the department, now there's more guns out on the street where there's kids, young kids, that are walking around with guns. Not baseball bats and basketballs. You see kids dribbling basketballs.
So do you
over
see
there?
how important
Yeah, it's
this
extremely,
man is,
extremely
and you
important.
are in the life? Yeah, things may be tougher. Remember, I have two kids that are police officers also.
Right.
But things may be tougher. But I think that we, as mentors, are coming out more.
I agree.
Okay?
Yes.
We are coming out more, and in turn, we are protecting and saving more lives that may have gone down.
Yes.
And at the same time, I feel such pride in that young man because, number one, he's proud of where he comes from.
Yes.
Because as you saw, when I said, Harlem is not as, he fought for the dignity of Harlem, but at the same time, look at the beauty of what he has and will accomplish because of you and because of you and because of you.
And wait, let's not forget. I mean, you lead us. You're
Well,
the reason.
listen, I'm the host of the show.
You're
So I don't have to go there, okay?
Host.
Me and Steve.
How many? The two of you. How many people's lives do you think you saved?
Well, I don't care about that. I'm talking about you.
You know what it comes down to, guys? Mike from North Carolina, he came up.
He doesn't count that.
Well, we organized it. Normally we were at Gino's on a Thursday in Jerome. I hope you're getting better here. We rearranged the show to come here today. Mike pulled us together. You came down. Ray and I came down. Carmine came down. It's all about giving back. If we all pull together, mentor together, that's what it's all about, right, George?
Yeah,
It's totally about giving back, and it's about actually simply just like he said earlier, being nice, giving back and working together. And what you said was great is that they do mentor us. I couldn't believe that, working in finance for years that are very successful. These kids that work harder than I ever worked, kids that are smarter than I ever been. And to see that having such little, if we match the resources with their effort, you're going to see it explode.
Right.
That's what we got to do.
Young man, I want you to give a message out there to all your friends from the standpoint of where you're going and where you want your friends to go.
So I know I'm going to college for free, and I know your parents don't want to pay for college. You don't want to pay for college. I have a brother who's a Division I football player that's going to college for free. I got a sister who's a nurse that's about to become a doctor who also went to college for free. And me, I know I'm going to go to college for free. So you don't want that burden to be on your parents. So do what you got to do, whether it's in school, extracurricular activities, or anything else, and stay off the streets.
How important is school for you?
It's extremely important.
Say it loud.
It's extremely important, not just because of academics. It's also a great way to network and make new friends, which will benefit you later in life.
That man next to you, if you have one last word to say, because he was leaving the planet today, what would those words be to that man next to you?
One word?
Or one sentence.
Thank you for all you've done.
Say it loud, please.
Thank you for all you've done.
Could you look at him?
Thank you for all you've done.
All right, that's what I like.
That's what it's all about, because a lot of kids out there not knowing what to do, making poor choices. You're making the right choice, great mentoring and people around you. It's a blessing, you and your brother. It's a powerful message. We can talk all we want, but coming from you is even more powerful.
What's your website, George? Outreach.org. Okay. Yep. See, they could call us heroes, but what if that young man just said, his parents are my heroes? The way what he just said is a reflection of his parents.
All of you guys are heroes, and I love it. I love all of you. I don't know you, but I love you. Okay, because of what you have helped this young man achieve, and I'm very, very proud of Michael. And again, you've done it again. You're the connector. You're the guy that always has the great people, and you do great things, and I love you for that. Okay, love, baby.
Another better place right in the Bronx.
In the Bronx, in the South Bronx.
South Bronx, but
each of you as a gift will be receiving Yankee Miracles, my book, And as is, I hope you enjoyed it. There's one for him too. Yes, there's one for him also. So thank you very much. We have the cake.
Oh, the cake. Tino Martinez.
A great Yankee, Tino Martinez. Happy birthday, Tino Martinez. He set his birthday cake. He set this cake
December
over.
7th is his birthday.
Mike has had his mouth all over it.
Yeah, I've been eating.
He ate half of it. Yeah, the other half. He's been training to become fat.
There we go.
He wants to become gordo.
But this has been Reach Out with Ray and Steve from the Yankee Tavern in the Bronx. And
We are going to be going to all the different stores all throughout the Bronx. So we have to give out books and things and all that and a piece of cake. But Monday night,
Reach Out with Ray and Steve.
Willie Renda. Willie Renda.
Cecil Fielder.
Cecil.
And Mike Heath.
Bye.